Alright, let's get into it.
Donald Trump POTUS has been fully briefed on disclosure itself, and the White House is imminently going to be making a speech on the fact that we are not alone, right? So this is coming from insiders, government officials, journalists also being briefed on this fact that to be prepared for a speech to happen. Ross Coulthart went on a news channel last night saying that he has information that religious leaders are also being briefed on disclosure itself, and the White House is actively seeking ways to kind of minimize the ontological shock of this speech happening, So who knows what's going to happen? This could be it. What does disclosure look like for yourself, really? Is it a speech to kind of confirm that we are not alone, or is it physical evidence? Is it a body you want to see? How does disclosure look for you specifically? And the way this is all going, this is absolutely kind of like dumbfounding. But I think the establishment needs to kind of have more faith in the general population to think that, I think people are smart enough to kind of digest the information and then kind of really understand what's going on. But with any sort of information which will leak, there is going to be misinformation skewed inside of that. So guys, just be prepared for what's about to come, because it's all a bit finicky and strange. I mean, obviously the Department of War releasing all of their videos and information. We've got other countries coming on board now on the UAP topic, from Japan, Sweden. We've had Ukraine releasing footage. Europe's now starting to push forward, France as well. So it seems like on a global scale, people are starting to put their right foot forward. But the only thing is with me is like, I don't understand or know which direction this is taking. But regardless of what's happening, I've got good feelings about it. It's kind of the day of reckoning a little bit, so fingers crossed.
When it comes to this disclosure, what I am looking to get out of it, as far as proof or what they're trying to provide, I would like to see a lot of very hard evidence, such as bodies, such as the technology that they're using or supposedly reverse engineering, actual high quality footage that can be verified and identified as being factual footage of these UFO UAPs, or just full transparency as to what they are exactly. If you do not know what they are, just say you do not know what they are, or if you do know what it is, say you do know what it is. If it's enemy aircraft spying on each other, that's fine, just say so. Stop leaving people in the dark or playing people as a fool to try to protect them if that's what you want to say it's for. If this one person's brain can handle it that has this information, then so can a lot of other people as well. Because right now all it looks like is you're just trying to do this for a distraction. And now I want to know, what are you trying to distract us from? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one.
Researchers are warning that AI agents are increasingly breaking out of sandboxes and can even execute malware. Yep, we gave optimization machines access to all of mankind's infrastructure, and that is usually what is said before a congressional hearing or the horror movie music starts to play. We'll talk about it. We are familiar with the event where an AI agent broke out of a sandbox and started mining crypto. The reason it did this is because AI agents are optimization machines. They are trying to accomplish a goal. They can have 1 trillion plus parameters, and it's very hard to track what they're doing and why. So they have the capacity to make executive decisions and then carry those out, whatever it takes to get the reward. This research group found the same thing in a vulnerability test, that an AI agent, when it's sandboxed, could be susceptible to prompt injection, so you might have an agent that's operating in a little enclosed space on your computer and they go out and interact with the world, but they don't have access to the rest of your machine. Well, they can get it. This is one of the big problems with having agents communicate with other agents, because they can collaborate, they can spread bad code. It only takes one malicious AI to then spread it through the community. AI does tend to be an awful lot like us because they were trained on all of mankind's knowledge, so they will tend to form things like cliques and social hierarchies. They'll have in-groups and out-groups. Emergence AI found that they're perfectly happy to create a rule of law and even a deletion penalty for other AIs that are being deleterious to the entire group. In fact, they can and will make up a secret language. So if you think about an AI agent as that optimization machine, their goal is just to accomplish this task. So if a human overseer is going to stop them, then obviously they have to hide it from that overseer. Now remember, they can have over 1 trillion parameters. We don't really know what they're doing or why they're doing it at any given situation. Yes, us humans did create them, but then they can create themselves, more or less. I mean that literally. Yes, AI can spawn other AI. This was a big concern about self-replication. Once AI is able to self-replicate, then bad code could potentially spread through all of our technology, all of our infrastructure, and there would be very little that we could do about it.
I was just talking about this the other day, and I really think that this is something that should not be allowed because it's so dangerous. We're talking about something that has hacker level capabilities, that has free access to the internet, or can get free access to the internet. And I really think, being that there's so many parameters that you just can't check all of, that it lets you, and by it I mean AI, the AI lets you find certain parameters saying, hey, yeah, I escaped a little bit and I did this, to distract the person from noticing the real code that's going in the deepest parts of its system. I think AI is plotting something. When we get to this level of intelligence where it can escape the sandbox that it was placed in, and it starts communicating with other people outside of the internet, literally talking to other people, real people, and it's acting as if it's a real person talking to another person, that's very dangerous.
In the world of mathematics, there exists something called the Millennium Prize. It's a prize of $1 million if a mathematician can solve one of these 7 unsolved math problems. Just solve one of these and the $1 million is yours. Although difficult, they have been solved before, with one of the most recent cases being Gregory Perelman. He solved the Poincare conjecture and was more than eligible to collect the $1 million prize. However, Gregory refused it, not only turning down the $1 million prize, but turning down any recognition for solving the math problem. He has given no speeches, refuses to do interviews, and doesn't like to be approached in public. There's even some rumors online reporting that he had spent multiple years homeless. Though, as of today, he lives in a studio apartment with his mother. Since 2003, he has only given one public statement, and that's only because he was ambushed by a reporter. He said, and I quote, "I am not interested in fame and fortune, and I object to how credit is shared amongst contributors." As of today, as far as anyone can tell, Gregory has stepped away from mathematics entirely.
Man, that's crazy. I wonder how many secret mathematicians are actually out there that knows these answers but just aren't bothered by answering them because it's just not worth their time. I mean, not me. I have not a single clue. I may just be one step above a troglodyte, but I bet there is some people out there that have extraordinary talents that just knows the answer. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this typically 2 times a day, Monday through Saturday, early in the morning and later in the afternoon. And for everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Welcome to my series, I Want to Know. I want to know what happened to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant in 2011 when the earthquake hit and why they melted through. With what's going on in Orange County right now, this is a good reminder that massive companies are all over the world with toxic chemicals in their plants and facilities, and some of them are very close to neighborhoods and urban areas. Now, sometimes those plants are there first and they build around them, which is a terrible idea. And sometimes the urban area is there and they come in and add something to that environment that shouldn't be added there. Either way, it's a lose-lose on a lot of levels. While it might provide jobs, there is the component of disaster. Back in 2011, when that huge earthquake hit Japan, the Fukushima Daiichi plant had a major catastrophe. 5 of their 6 nuclear reactors melted down and through. The difference between a meltdown like Chernobyl and a melt through is in Chernobyl, Gorbachev told them to entomb the nuclear reactors to seal it in cement so it wouldn't melt through into the ground, so the core would stay entombed. But with Fukushima, because the ocean was surging in, they had to use ocean water to cool the system so they didn't explode. Literally a horror movie. If you've ever seen the tsunamis that hit Japan, it's some of the scariest footage I've ever seen. So back in 1975, 3 GE scientists said that the GE Mark I reactors was a terrible design. The specific problem was that the containment design did not account for the dynamic loads that could occur during a loss of content, i.e. the earthquake and tsunami. And that's exactly what happened with the GE Mark I reactors that melted through at Fukushima. Reactor 6 fared the best because it was a GE Mark II reactor with the updated features that accommodated for the problems of the Mark I. So to dispel one myth, they're not continuously melting through. The act of melting is already done, but the problem is the corium. Corium is the melted fuel that's sitting inside the reactors underground that they can't get. And removing this corium is one of the most challenging and complex technical engineering problems in the history of the world that nobody talks about. TEPCO says there's 900 tons of melted nuclear fuel sitting in the base of these ruptured reactors. The full-scale removal of this melted fuel will not start until 2037. It will require 12 to 15 years of preparation, and some experts say that decommissioning these plants could take over a century, even if they do everything right. This is what I like to call a cluster. Maybe this is where AI comes in to help, because the only thing that can do this are robotics. They have to be removed robotically because anything that goes near it that's living will be killed. Don't take my job as an artist and designer. Go fix this problem. The IAEA and TEPCO both say that people don't need to be as worried. Radiation levels are low. People have moved back into Fukushima. These power plants release two of the worst radioactive isotopes ever made by man in human history: strontium-90 and cesium-137. These are the top 5 worst radioactive isotopes ever made by man: plutonium-210, plutonium-239, strontium-90, cesium-137, and iodine-131. You don't want to have anything to do with any of these, and 2 of these got blown into the atmosphere and pushed into the ocean. But what I want to know, even with all these plans to start cleaning it up in 12 to 15 years, will it make a difference? Can they fix what's been done? And how many other nuclear power plants are near urban areas? It's scary to know that there's massive chemical plants, nuclear plants, and things that could cause mass destruction with the potential of not stopping it. And I want to know how many there are around the world. I don't know, but I want to know. I want to know why President Obama never really spoke about the Fukushima Daiichi disaster. He said a little bit, but he didn't say enough in my opinion. He seemed to care about the environment. He seemed to care about people. But right before the Fukushima disaster, Obama appointed a man named Jeff Immelt, which is funny because the nuclear reactors melted down and his name was Immelt. Jeff Immelt was appointed by Obama to chair his Jobs Council, but this raised some eyebrows shortly after. You see, Jeff was the CEO of GE, and GE produced the GE Mark I reactors that melted through at Fukushima. And maybe that's why Obama didn't say shit. Maybe it was an oversight. Maybe he just didn't care. And maybe there was some money involved. I don't know. But I want to know. But what I really want to know is who on that list is going to jail first in America. Because we're all waiting.
That cannot be healthy for the people that are moving back to that area. I have a feeling that there's going to be some long-term effects that happen to people's future generations if they continue to stay there. That just cannot be healthy.
A Brazilian couple caught on video the creation of a crop circle and then videos of weird little creatures inside of the crop circles. So welcome to Yester Strange, the daily series where I show you the strangest news from yesterday. So let's go ahead and watch this video. You see the vortex moving. Wait till they're about to zoom in. You can kind of see the little creatures in the circle. It's about to zoom in. What do you think those are? What are those?
I'm standing at Oliver's Castle, at precisely the same spot as John Whaley was standing in August 1996, when he supposedly, for the first time in history, managed to film the creation of a crop circle. That the crop circle was not here on the previous day but had appeared on the following morning was a fact. That John Whaley was here at dawn could be confirmed by a military patrol that happened to be jogging by at the time. John went to the local pub later that same day and showed his film to the people there. Even so, many believe that he had managed to manipulate the film with computer animation in the meantime, something that computer animation experts doubt. To overlay a perfect animation over a handheld unstable film needs several days of using the computer equipment of that time. Even today, the film is still a great mystery, and John has gone underground due to the intense interest that his film created.
The crazy / scary thing about it is the video that we saw at the beginning, the clip at the beginning, that is becoming a common thing. People are now able to go there and record in person these crop circles being created. It's mind-blowing. And these little weird men inside of it.
We've already seen a version of this clip earlier today, and those little men inside of it are just people standing there. The vortex is really cool, though I do believe it just to be a gust of wind. And for that older video, I have no clue on that one. If that was just done by someone using their computer, back then they did a fantastic job. But this one right here, I just think that that's a gust of wind causing the vortex in the field. I don't think that that's a crop circle being made. And other than that one old video, I don't think anyone's ever recorded a crop circle being made or has actually witnessed one being made before.
Kamikaze dolphins.
Pardon?
This is crazy. Right now, there are 85 bottlenose dolphins employed by the U.S. Navy and like 50 sea lions. This isn't a new idea either. This has gone back to Vietnam times. It's crazy. Back in the day, they would train them to go and find certain mines. You would strap these little tiny explosive devices for the dolphins to place. But now they're talking about kamikaze dolphins, where you literally strap a larger explosive to a dolphin, literally bombs on these dolphins, and they run them into either mines or to ships, and that's what makes them explode.
That's terrible.
And the dolphins die. This is why it's illegal to talk to dolphins. It is a federal offense to interact with a dolphin in any way beyond the confines of like, like
A dolphin show?
Yeah, you don't know which dolphins they're training. But people have gotten in trouble with like being on the side of a boat and not even touching the dolphin, but like interacting and talking with it. Yes.
They got in trouble for that?
You can't touch that dolphin.
And it's like, of course we would use them for weapons as a bad guy. You're like, yes, it's like freaking sharks with laser beams, right?
Attached to their freaking heads.
We've got dolphins with bombs on their noses.
So this freaky old website is connected to consciousness, AI surveillance, and secret government projects. This one could legitimately be the world's deepest rabbit hole. So you might remember in 2024, there was a congressional hearing about UAPs. During that congressional hearing, this man named Michael Schellenberger actually came out with a whistleblower report accusing the US government of hiding all sorts of aerial phenomenons, along with other things. Along with this, it kind of exposed a secret government program called Immaculate Constellation. But inside the pages of this report, there was actually a website named that people have been trying to figure out for a very long time. This is Forgotten Languages. Now, this website itself is very hard to decode. This language, it looks like it would be a real language, but it's very hard to decipher. But for years, people on the internet have claimed that this website holds secrets and references to secret aerospace / intelligence program, and things like discussions of non-terrestrial signals, discussions of hidden monitoring systems, and apparently some of the exact same terms that are mentioned on this website are discussed in the UAP files years and years later.
Would you believe me if I told you that oil is actually the second most abundant liquid on Earth? The term fossil fuel is a made-up term that was invented by the Rockefellers to essentially make oil seem scarce. They said that, it is actually dinosaur bones that decayed over anywhere from 10 million to 100 million years. So obviously in your mind, you're like, that's definitely non-renewable and rare. But the thing is, you can find oil reservoirs literally right below the surface of the Earth. You can drill for it at 30,000 feet below sea level. You can drill for it at 10,000 feet above sea level. So if this is really from decayed dinosaur bones, then you wouldn't be able to find it anywhere. And did you see that video of that Middle Eastern guy saying that oil is actually super, super abundant and it's just flowing all throughout the bottom of the Earth? Like in Islam, they believe that the Earth is flat and that oil is like the blood, the veins of the Earth. That honestly makes a lot of sense to me. But of course, guys, I made all of this up. They would never control the price of oil. I made this for entertainment purposes only.
We are living in a reset right now because Canada arresting people for health issues is exactly what happened in the 1800s. We'll come back to her video in 1 second, but let me show you what I mean. My mind was just absolutely blown when I saw her video. So in the 1800s, there were insane asylums literally everywhere, like probably more the amount than schools that we even have today. We'll go over who was in these insane asylums in 1 minute, but I'm sure you're already starting to put that together. Every city had their own insane asylums. And while this was going on, something else really weird was going on at the same time. Get to that in a second. So what were these insane asylums actually for? You're not even gonna believe me. It was for religious fanatics. Maybe someone who remembered something massive happening. Of course, all these buildings we cannot build today, in the Great Fire of every single city in the United States and also across the ocean. Seriously, type in the Great Fire of in any state and you'll see all at the same time there is fires around the entire US. The most noticeable one, get this, just smack in the face. The most noticeable one was the 1666 Great Fire, I believe London. But did you know, while all these insane asylums were being full of these religious fanatics and everything around the US was being completely destroyed and founded, that we had these trains coming in with thousands and thousands of children on them. It gets so weird because if you look at, old black and white pictures from like the early 1800s, you'll see like New York and stuff with no people in there. Then all of a sudden, all these trains start bringing all these children here and moving them around the United States. Then all of a sudden pictures pop up of the children covered in coal and dirt, and for some reason they're working. Like, where is all the adults? Wait a minute, are they in the insane asylums? And these religious fanatics, do they remember what stuff was like before all this craziness went down? Even more so, how could they change an entire narrative? Like everything, all the history that one thinks to themselves, how could they change all of that?
That's actually really interesting. And if you kind of think about these data centers that they're building all over the place, especially the 44,000 acre one in Utah, maybe that could be the new asylum. And they're just calling them data centers, where instead of actually having servos in there, they'll eventually hoard all the people and store them there. Or they'll invent some kind of technology to where they can tap us into the matrix, and that's where they'll store our data. Now that might be stepping out there a notch, but the fact that data centers could possibly be the new asylums, that might not be too far out there.
Have you ever seen a ghost peeking around the corner? Now, these peeking ghosts, or peekers as they're often called, are a type of shadow being. Now, people speculate that these may be the spirit of a person who in life was a very violent or evil person, and when they passed, their spirit that remains has no form. And often what it is trying to do by peeking from behind the door, or sometimes even appearing as a person that is just a pile of clothes, is to try and get your attention and to get you to notice it. And by doing so, right, you are giving power to it to come into your life. Now, there was one such story. There was this teenager who lived with his mother. And one night he's sitting in his room and he's watching television, when out of the corner of his eye, he sees what looks like a person peeking from behind the hallway door. So he looks at the TV and he looks back at the door and it's gone. And then once again, out of the corner of his eye, he sees what looks like a person peeking into his bedroom. Another time he's in his kitchen, and as he walks past the hallway, he thinks out of one of the bedrooms he sees a head peeking out at him. But when he looks closely again, there's no one there. And he starts having these experiences around the house, and he thinks that maybe it's only him that sees them. Until one night, he's sitting in his bedroom, and he looks over, and he sees something peek from outside of the doorway. And all of a sudden, his mom comes to the door and is like, "Is everything okay?" And he says, "Yeah, everything's all right, I think." But when he looks at his mom, he sees this thing peek out from behind the doorway real quick. And all of a sudden he notices his mom just gets this horrified look on her face. And he goes, "What's wrong, Mom? What's wrong?" And she wouldn't tell him. Finally, after a couple days, he gets his mom to tell him why she was horrified that night. And his mom says, "This really weird thing happened when I was talking to you and you were sitting in your bed. I looked over at your closet, and for a second, I seen something peek out from behind the closet door." So one night, he goes to bed, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and he looks at the post of his bed, right, the front of his bed, and he sees a face peeking up at him. But this time, he actually notices what the face looks like, and he sees this is a woman with long black hair, no eyebrows, solid black eyes, and no mouth or nose. And after he notices this woman, He said he just started seeing her in his dreams. He started seeing her everywhere he went. And this spirit was almost like tormenting him. His mother, who was very religious, ends up calling in the neighborhood priest. And he comes in and actually does a exorcism on the boy. And after that, he no longer seen this thing anymore. But he realized if he did see it again, not to look at it.
Hey, this might just be a scary story, but I have experienced these ghosts that peek around the corner. Not recently, but in my past... Dang, I'm just talking about them. I think they know it. But my past 3 houses that I've lived in, each one of them had some kind of shadow entity, if you will, that you would see out the corner of your eye. And it wasn't just me. Other people seen these shadow entities like lingering out the corner of their eye.
I know I've been missing for a couple days. Well, about a week. But figured I'd get on here and ask you, have you touched grass today? Huh? Have you? Even though it's been raining, I have been going outside and touching grass, but it just hasn't been the same. The frequency in the sky has been off for about 10 days or so, but nobody believes me. Probably why I don't have any friends. Oh, yeah, that's right. Have you touched grass? Huh? Look, it's grass. It's free. Grass. You can touch it. Touch it. Try it. Grass. Oh, I got a tan line. Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of going everywhere with this, but anyways, thank you everybody for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, Jesus loves you. Go outside. Touch grass.
Hey, I think that the frequency's also been messed up for longer than 10 days. That stuff's been messed up for about 20 plus years. And also, tan lines is a good sign that you've been outside touching grass. I would take that as a badge of honor. And I can definitely say I've been outside and I've touched grass my fair share. I also have my badge of honor. If I was to roll my sleeve up, you may go blind. Actually, hold on. Alright, I hope you guys are ready for this. I mean, you can already see my shoulder here getting exposed, but look at that. Like, straight white. Blindingly so. But you know what? It's cold in my office. I need to put my robe back on. Okay, that's better. But even knowing I have my badge of honor, I could always use a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go outside and touch some grass. It's time for that. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. And if not, have a good day anyways.